I'm Maddie.
I'm Amber. And we're Witches Talking Tarot.
We are the weirdos in this one.
Like a song, like a sailor snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble. Sam.
Wow. Hey everybody, I'm Amber.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And today, since it's 2 days until Halloween, we decided that we'd whip up a few little scary stories to get you in the mood. Before, we've told you some scary stories that we were involved in. And today, we're telling you some scary stories that we wrote. So I didn't actually name mine. I don't know if
I
you
didn't
did.
name mine either. I called it
Okay.
Vampire Short Story.
But, I called mine Scary Story what? Scary Story 2.
I just, I feel like maybe mine's not that scary. I mean, I feel like it's,
Like, I don't normally,
mine's
you know what? I'm
intense.
not trying to downplay thing, but I don't think I've ever actually written scary. I don't know. But I hope I, at least if nothing else, get you a little bit in the mood for Sabbath and Halloween. So, without further ado, if I was going to name this, maybe without having as much time to think about a name, because I didn't, maybe I'd call this one The Tradition.
That sounds like a scary movie.
It does.
Actually, it does. I would love that.
Right? Yeah. I had fun with this. This was fun. I put myself outside of the box on what I normally do. This is written from which I never did.
Mhm.
So, Here we go. Sorry, y'all. I have rituals. So I gotta hit my vape, I gotta drink my coffee, and then I will read. I was gonna do voices, but I don't think I
I'm
can.
embarrassed. I know.
Yeah,
I want to.
I just don't think I can. So sorry. I was gonna try to be more fun, but I might have read this first one out loud and timed myself and did voices, and at the end I was like, oh my fucking throat. So not happening. Not happening. My darling child, it's tradition. We all went through in our 16th year, and you will as well. My grandmother did her very best to sound both upbeat and encouraging. But I am 16 and Samhain is 2 days away. I have much more on my mind than following some stodgy old family tradition. I know my friends will want to harvest apples for bobbing and making sweet treats, and I have to get my costume together. Can't celebrate properly without that. Siobhan said she was going to have a surprise for us all, and I want to be able to do the same myself. We've all four been the very best of friends since as far back as I can remember. Siobhan is always so thoughtful, and the rest of us should do something special for her as well on such a special day. Samhain is the holiest day, and we will have so many folk to see. It will feel like a whirlwind by morning. As my grandmother kept going on about whatever her tradition is for me to follow, I thought about everything I need to get together. 2 days is not a lot of time, and I haven't started on anything yet. And you'll need to make sure to get a name, she said, while I thought my lace gloves, lace leggings, vermilion gown, ruby jewels, the mask I made at Knocklonergan. Best to let them speak first. Best to let them do most of the talking as long as it looks good to you, she trailed on. I thought my Samhain lantern is in the closet and must be fetched. Cream and honey for my bath, cinnamon, clove, frankincense. Right, darling, are you taking note of everything? Grandmother asked me in the middle of my list making. Allowing interest to light my eyes, I smile sweetly. Of course, Gran. I'm making a mental list of everything I will meet. I'm so excited for Samhain. It's my favorite night of the whole year. There's something so very special about the air. You touch it and it has a different texture. I end my convincing little speech with a flourish of my hand. Being born on Samhain, I definitely feel connected to the whole of the energy this time of year. The excitement is not faked, just my interest in the tradition. You're positively aglow, my girl. Girl, I'm so glad you've decided to embrace it all and carry on with our family tradition, Gran exclaimed, smiling from ear to ear, positively glowing herself and embracing me so tightly we came off the ground. It feels nice to make Gran so happy after all she's done. When things can be so dark, why not let there be some light? Besides, what Gran doesn't know won't kill her. Let her think I'm still her little fairy princess with gossamer wings. Just a little bit longer. I'm going to get everything together after the sun comes up, and I will be prepared for the holiday, I say to Gran with an innocent smile on my face. I mean, I don't really need to mention that I'm getting together everything I need to have a blessed Samhain with my friends, Siobhan, Darren, and Ainsley. Tricks and treats are all part of the party, right? I lie down with a smile on my face in anticipation for the games to begin. I with energy, the brisk autumn breeze stirring my hair under the twilight sky. Ready to harvest, I float around my small quarters so I can gather my friends and we can gather our supplies. Bopping through our forest, I gather my friends like fallen leaves, each one beautiful and unique, a product of the fall like myself. We gather apples and mushrooms, a few acorns that are still on the ground and unspoiled, and grab any other ground fallen nuts or fruits that can add to our feasting tomorrow night. Soaking in the magic of the season through the rich colors of the forest tapestry, the four of us radiate with the waning sun's rays. After a day full of revelry, we part ways to prepare for our next day full of very different sort of revelry. I'm flying high on my excitement as I arrive home with my basket full of goodies. I've drawn you a bath complete with your magical fairy dust, Gran says with a wink as I sweep past her. I slip into the warm water and feel myself disappear into another world. Somewhere between this world and the dream world, I hang in space and feel the sense of the season surround me. Sorry, guys, my dog knocked over our little extra light because I'm old and I can't read in such dim lighting as we have tonight. You motherfucker. He just knocks over the light and then moves. Somewhere between this world and the dream world, I hang in space and feel the sense of the season surround me. Cinnamon, clove, and ginger swirl on the steam, making me anticipate the morrow even more. I run through my rituals so I can finish my bath and get to sleep. Then it will be just a few winks, and tomorrow will arrive. Taking my first breath on the day leading to Samhain night, I smell the change in the air as the veil thins to nothing, a gauze sheet dissolving, a fall leaf disintegrating, water becoming air, the greatest smell in the world. But tonight we travel worlds. Tonight we move through the veil instead of just looking through it. Or at least that's what the stories say, what the book tells us. Slipping my robe on, I call out to Gran. I'm up, ready to assist you with preparing our feast for the night. I dash into her and give a big hug, swirling us both in the air on gossamer wings. Blessed Samhain, Gran, I squeal, literally unable to control my excitement. Laughing, Gran lets me off the hook. This part of the Holy Days celebrations are more for me and my kind, darling Rennie. Besides, I don't think you'll have much of an appetite for what I prepare after you go out gallivanting with your friends tonight. Now fly away, my little wren. She gives me a knowing look only a grandmother can muster, and shoos me out of the room. Don't forget, you must prepare. It's tradition. Gran's words float after me, haunting me. I don't quite care for tradition one way or another. I have yet to see the point or purpose in it. Well, in the ones I don't care about anyway. I have more important traditions with Ainsley, Siobhan, and Darren to consider.
Okay, Ansley, Siobhan, and Darren, motherfuckers. Like, she just keeps like, I already don't like Siobhan.
Oh my God, that's so funny to me. Oh, I love that so fucking much. That's so hilarious. Okay. Okay, that shit was hilarious. I skitter away from both my responsibilities and unwanted thoughts so I can gather my supplies and fly off to our gathering spot to prepare for the festivities. By the time I arrive in our glade, my three friends are already here and ready. Surprise! They yell in unison while tossing red, orange, and yellow flower petals into the air all around me. The aroma is momentarily intoxicating, and I beam with joy. Oh, you, I say, and embrace them all at once. We wanted to do something special for your 16th, Siobhan begins.
No,
That's why I was laughing, because, like, I knew that was coming when you said this. Okay. Ooh, it's such a special day, Darian adds, but we wanted it to make it even more special for you. As the night goes on, everything will feel different. You'll feel the pull. It's so powerful. And we just want to make sure you remember us. I was so nervous about my 16th. Then I was swept up in the wild hunt. Before I knew it, it was Yule. And all the fear evaporated. I just did what I had to do. It was so silly to have been nervous. Everyone goes through their 16th if they're lucky anyway. After all is said and done, we don't want you to forget who your friends are. Ainsley said, while looking down shyly at her gorgeous white cloak. The snowflakes embroidered on it were flawless, and each one different. No two snowflakes were alike. When she twirls in that cloak, I can feel the snow fall on my cheeks. I smile broadly and again embrace my friends. How can I ever forget you, my friends? I look at Darren, my sweet summer child, I say with a slight smirk. And then to Ainsley, I purr, the lady who brings the snow. And finally, my eyes settle on Siobhan, the little lamb who is as darling as she is enlivening. You all are everything I need. And yet somehow it sounds like you're with Gran on this silly 16th tradition thing. My voice trailed off suspiciously. No, none of that now, Ainsley tuts at me. Get dressed so we can get out for the trading and the tricking. Dressed in our holiday finery of reds and blacks and purples, we dash and flash through the cobbled streets, linked arm in arm, the four of us. A flap of my black velvet cloak and the bright vermilion of my silken dress flashes out from underneath. Darren bows, throwing the fiery crimson cloak straight overhead in an exaggerated flash. Ainsley and Siobhan spin together, creating a whirlwind of black and purple undercut with flashes of deep and bright blues. We're painting the night a rainbow of darkness. Perfect Samhain celebrations, if I do say so myself. Before I know it, our treating is almost to an end. I can't remember anything Gran told me I'm supposed to do, which makes perfect sense as I did not listen to her at all. What a shame. Maybe next year. My thoughts trail off as we come to our final destination for the evening. Every window shines with warm candlelight, and the inviting fire inside streaks a fragrant flow of smoke from the chimney through the sky above our heads. Samhain indeed, I think. Inside is a whirlwind of activity. Everyone is dancing, chittering, playing games, and about every other breath you can hear the clink of drinks in a body. How do you say body? B-A-W-D-Y. Body.
I get you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it doesn't sound right coming out. It looks good on paper. A body, sláinte. The dark paneled walls blend into the smoky air, dancing in the firelight. The partiers throw distorted shadows that flicker and mesmerize the eyes. We're each handed hefty mugs of cider, and as I raise mine to drink, I see what I came for. Apple bobbing, my favorite for the holiday. I love the challenge, the feel of the flesh in my teeth as I seize my victim and pull it free of the watery depths. Truly my favorite part of Samhain, and it is right before me. All the way across the room of rowdy revelers, but right before my very eyes just the same. I dance a jig with my friends through the throng of partygoers, my eyes on the prize the whole time. A great big wooden tub gleams with the warmth from its birch panels. Its black metal bindings seem to suck that light in, and me too. I glide to the edge and stare at my reflection in the black water. The ripples carry my image away from me. I see the reflections of the other revelers like I'm scrying the party in the glassy vision. The ripples carry them away too, pulling them further and further from me, only to ricochet and return to me as different faces in a different light. The gentle lapping of the water is hypnotic, lulling me into a trance. I sway back and forth with the lapping waves. The glossy surface gleams, distorted images of the party going on around me. And suddenly, my sight is filled with red. An apple has popped up out of the black, a vibrant red dome glimmering amid the obsidian sea. Like a viper, I strike. White fangs flashing, I dive headfirst into the dark pool. Red-filled vision, I attack my prey. The sweet taste of victory explodes in my mouth as my teeth find purchase and rip into the apple's flesh. I pull my head out of the watery depths, my prize clenched tightly, a wide grin spread across my face. And I have no idea where I am. The room is bright white and filled with people. People as I have never before seen, only heard tale of. The book says we can cross the veil to be with them, not just see them, but I have never even seen them before. I've only read that I can. Being a child of Samhain, I should have been able to see them before. And now tonight, I am here with them. I smile in delight, so excited that the tales are true. I pull the apple from my mouth to find no fruit at all, but a red, fleshy, disembodied tongue. I turn around to face the apple bobby basin, and I see the owner of the tongue, holding both hands over his mouth, blood pouring from between his fingers, eyes wide with shock. Black leathery wings unfold from my back, and now I see why Gran said the treats she was cooking up would not be my feasting tonight. And that is the tradition.
I actually love it. It could be a scary movie.
Yeah.
It could, I mean, if you were to go off it, it could actually be
Right?
a
Like,
fucking scare, like the Samhain night, the tradition, you know.
like I had a lot of fun with it. I was like, I laughed so hard when you said you hate Siobhan, because each of the characters is a child of a specific season because they're the Fae.
Okay, so that's why we've got like the winter. Okay.
Yes,
Mhm.
Ainsley is the winter. And I looked up their names, and originally Ainsley was my main character's name,
Mhm.
but Ren, or like Rennick, but not the way I spelled it, because I thought I was making up names, but I did not make it. Well, I knew Siobhan and Ainsley were real
Mhm.
Celtic names, But then I also thought I was making up Rennick and Darren, and then I realized I was just spelling Darren a different way, because it's Derryn. And anyway, like Darren's the summer because it means like a certain thing. Like anyway, each name I like it matches. Rennick is like a blackbird in an empty field or something like that. And so I was like, oh, that's a Samhain name. Like that's my Samhain kid. And Ainsley means something that made me think of winter.
You could go off that. Like, I mean, that
Yeah.
could be a scary movie.
Right. I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
It could
I was
al- it
so
could
excited
be
to read it to
just
all
a
of
horror
you.
movie. It could be body horror because she's eating, you know.
Right. Yeah. Because like, I mean, it you can imagine whatever you want, but obviously she's crossed into the human world. She's gonna eat some of these people, maybe all of them, and her friends know that she's crossing into the human world. She's about to feast on some people, and like, hey, don't have too much fun. Come back to the veil. Like, come back through the veil.
I like
Because
that.
they've all been through. They know. That's why they want her to remember their friends. Anyway,
Right.
sorry. I had a lot of fun. I did.
I'm
I'm
so
so
happy.
excited to hear.
I am so nervous to read this out loud, actually. So this is just, I guess, okay, so I named it Vampire Short Story for Witches Talking Tarot. But I think if I had to come up with a title, I think I'd call it The Chase. And the way that I wrote it, I ended it with like, I could continue if I wanted to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Embarrassed, y'all.
No, this is fun. I'm so excited. I love that we did this.
Me
is
too.
so
This was fun.
Yeah. I'm so
Okay, let me
excited.
put this down 'cause they're bad.
Yeah.
Silence. Elisa strained her ears, willing herself to hear something, anything, to give some sort of clue to where the predator was lurking, but only a deafening silence rang out from the dark. How she had managed to hide inside an abandoned building was beyond her. The adrenaline that coursed through her veins made almost everything incomprehensible while she remained focused on only one thing: escape. She pressed her back against a rotting wooden wall and unsuccessfully tried to regain control of her breathing. She had thought this building a good place to run at the time. Now it seemed little more than a tomb, a coffin just waiting to slam the door closed on her life. Please, she prayed to whatever deity was listening, please just let me make it out of this alive, and I promise I'll start going to church. I'll donate my life savings to charity. Just let me live. Wicked laughter sung out, echoing off the empty walls like a ghost. A mad woman's cackles that sent shivers down Elisa's spine. Elisa couldn't pinpoint where the noise was coming from. It filled the space, making it impossible to locate its origin.
No, I know. I was like, that's why I did my little ritual before. I was like, lubricate throat.
I'm coming to get you, a voice sang out excitedly, growing louder. You can't hide from me, little human. Elisa kicked off the wall she had been leaning against and ran. Lights from passing cars shone through the broken windows. If she could just get to one, she could slip out and chase down a car. I love a good chase. I love a good chase, the woman cackled again. There's nothing more delicious than a frightened woman. I should know, I've had plenty. Elisa pumped her arms and legs with all her might, heading towards one of the largest windows she could find. Fuck crawling out, she jumped. But as she was about to reach her destination, a shadow dropped from the ceiling directly in her path. Elisa let out a startled cry and managed to stop just in time. Oi, puppet, the shadow cooed. Don't be frightened. This won't hurt a bit. You'll enjoy it. I promise. Fight or flight must have taken over in that moment, because the next thing Elisa knew, she was shoving the palm of her hand upwards, right into the woman's nose, like she had been taught her whole life to do in a situation like this. The woman's head snapped backwards, but instead of crying out or falling to the ground in pain, she simply let out an annoyed sigh and righted herself again. At that moment, a car's headlights broke through one of the windows, and Elisa found herself looking directly into the eyes of her assailant, right? Okay. Wild, dark curls surrounded a surprisingly young-looking face. The woman couldn't be much older than Elisa herself. A wicked smile played at dark lips, showing off a series of impressively white teeth. 2 fangs hung where her canines should have been, and her eyes, the darkest of reds, like dried blood against a white background. My, she mused. You are a gorgeous thing, aren't you? And I bet you taste so good.
I'm picturing Helena Bonham Carter.
Same. Totally.
Yeah.
What do you want? Elisa said through numb lips. The wicked woman laughed, the same cackle as earlier. Oh, this should be good. How should I put this in a way you'd understand?
I'm sorry. Like, what a bitch.
She tapped her fingers against her chin, pretending to be lost in thought. I want to suck your blood. She
Love
giggled, raising her arms menacingly above her head in a mocking sort of way. Elisa's just blinked. What? The woman glared at Elisa, annoyance etching lines by her mouth and nose. Seriously, have you never seen Dracula?
She's so sarcastic. I love her. Okay.
I mean, I have, Elisa said, shaking her head to try and bring herself back to the reality of it all. It's just like, I don't get it. Like,
I feel for Elisa. Because who would imagine?
right? The woman let out a cry, and suddenly her arms were pressed against Elisa's throat. Elisa's back slammed into the nearest wall, causing a series of splintered wood to fall around them. Are you trying to be funny? The woman demanded, pressing hard against Elisa's trachea. No, because I'm the only one that gets to joke around here. Like, you're the frightened little human about that. I'm so glad you're laughing. Like, I wanted this part to be funny. Like,
You're killing me. I love it. It's so good.
Okay. Elisa found herself.
Okay, I can't drink. Okay.
Elisa found herself less frightened and more pissed off. Maybe it was the fight or flight still flowing through her veins, but she pushed against the woman, though it was no use. Okay, get the fuck off me. The wicked woman frowned at Elisa, all traces of mad humor disappearing. She pressed harder against Elisa's neck before releasing her. You're not like the others. You smell different. Yeah, whatever, Elisa replied, straightening her jacket. I don't know what you're playing at, lady, but I'm going to call the cops on your ass after I kick it. Okay, maybe that was a stupid thing to say. Elisa needed to get out of here and quick. Her eyes drifted to the wall of broken windows. Maybe she had this woman distracted enough she could take off and jump. Why bother? I'd just stop you again, the woman said, watching Elisa's face carefully. What do you want from me? Elisa fumed again. I don't have money or jewelry. If you're going to kill me, you might as well just get it over with. The woman was studying Elisa's face, her scarlet eyes searching for something there. You're right, I should just get it over with. Elisa opened her mouth to reply, but her response was cut off before it even began. The woman had wrapped her arms around Elisa's neck and shoulders and pulled her in close against her. Elisa's protest caught in her throat as she felt the unmistakable sharpness of a bite against the tender flesh of her neck. Dizziness clouded her vision, and she soon found herself growing limp against the woman, who held her upright. Her thoughts began to run together, becoming incoherent and confusing. A single groan escaped her lips, and her heart began to slow. It was that noise that made the woman stop and pull back. She dropped Elisa in a heap at her feet and let out a howl in frustration. Fuck. So I liked it. I think it was cute.
Yeah.
Like,
you could go anywhere. My favorite thing is like you can it's one of those things where, because like even though I dislike this, I love it. Maybe it's age, I don't know. But that whole thing where it has this ending where it's like you're unsure and you can kind of make up your own, like, did she like have an orgasm?
Oh,
and,
I was,
you know, or
my
did
thought,
she die? You know, but you can decide different things. What was your thought?
So my thought was actually the person saying fuck is the woman, the vampire. And I think it's because she decides in the end not to kill her. So as she's dying, she's like, God damn it.
Oh, I didn't mean to. Okay.
Yeah, so it was like a
like
type of her pissed off that she's showing mercy. You know what I mean? But Elisa was so funny. She just can't
She
kill,
doesn't wanna
right?
kill her,
She doesn't
yeah.
want to kill her.
She's
So
like, damn, nobody gives me this kind of fun. It's
Right.
the chase that I get
Exactly.
to enjoy
Mhm.
versus the banter.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So and I
like
love
that.
that because like with this story I can choose to, if I chose to continue it, okay, well now she's a vampire, or now
Right.
she's not a vampire and she wakes up and she's being stalked by someone and she's like, who the fuck is this? It's the vampire. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Or she really did. She enjoyed it so much. Like, she wasn't dying. She was like getting off, and the vampire was like, fuck, I didn't want to like
Yeah,
relationship.
right,
Like,
exactly.
don't be coming after me.
Or
you
it's
know,
the other
no.
way around and the
Right.
vampire did. And now the
Yeah,
human's
she's
like,
like,
oh my
whoa.
God, like stay away.
Whoa.
But
Yeah.
it
But
was
like,
fun.
that was fun.
It was fun
that
to
was
write. It was super
hilarious.
short. I mean, it's a short story, but
Right.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad you laughed because
That
I
was-
wanted it to be kind of funny. That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not really a scary story.
Right.
Like,
But it is, because being eaten by a vampire should be scary.
right.
Even if it's not definitely scary, it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
And so vampire story always fits in with a Halloween vibe.
I love a mad woman.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like,
I
Helena
was a little
Carter.
surprised. Like,
Like-
if anybody saw my face, I was surprised that the vampire was a woman. I was
I
expecting
wanted
a
to
man.
do a man, but then as I was thinking, I was like, nah, a crazy ass bitch.
Yeah,
You know what I
could've,
mean?
Right? Yeah, and like Helena Bonham Carter vibes all over that.
Yes, yes, loved it.
Love it.
Wild
Yes.
hair, everything. So that was really fun to write.
Yes, I had a lot of fun writing this. I did. So our third and final story of the evening, if I had to name it, I would actually call it The Drive, which makes these all go like
So tradition, the
yeah.
chase the drive, yeah.
I mean, it works well, so I'm not even going to try to think of anything else. It's going to be called The Drive. And I had a lot of fun with this one as well. I did.
Is this the longer one?
It's longer page-wise, but I don't think it'll be longer in reading. I think it's just the dialogue, but
Mhm.
I guess we shall see, and I will do my best. But I enjoyed this. No, that's not Halloweeny enough, Rachel. Brett yelled as his sister added Pure Elise to the playlist.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh my god!
I'm
you
named
little
after
brat.
that movie. Like, I'm named after that.
That song. I love that song. My brother played Resident Evil so much, and I'd be like, "Go play the song." Like, we always went. He humored me, and he went to the piano all the time, even though there was never any reason after like you get the first thing that you
Right.
get from playing it. I just had him go play the song for me, and he would like he'd play. I watched Resident Evil like it was a TV show, and my brother and I'd be like,
I was
"Kill
like
it,
that
kill it."
with Red Dead 2. That was me. Yeah.
Yeah, like I loved Resident. I mean, that was like so new with the PlayStation and everything. Because I'm old. Everybody who doesn't know.
Red Dead 2 came out like year before I had Theodore. So I felt like super lame watching it, like at my age, but it was so good. It was like a cowboy one. Like it was an old West cowboy
No,
one.
I get you, because I loved Resident Evil. Like, because Chris would be like, "Which way should I go?" And I'd be like, "Take that hallway." You know, and if he died, then it was my fault. You know, and I realize now as an older person, like, well played, sir. Well played.
I
You got
did
to
love
play
it. Like it with the Red Dad, like everything was so shocking. Like because he was a cowboy in the old West, right? It's like, oh my God, this woman, please help me. Someone robbed me. And I was like, help that lady, you know, and then he did, and that bitch was not robbed. She was doing the robbing with somebody hiding behind it. Like
Yeah.
it was great.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well familiar with, not from Red Dead 2, but
But yeah.
yeah. I'm familiar with that. Okay. No, that's not Halloweeny enough, Rachel. Brent yelled at his sister as his sister added Fear Elise to the playlist. Oh my god, you little brat, Rachel said, rolling her eyes. I'll add Danse Macabre instead. Andy smiled, happy to see Rachel at least giving in to her little brother, even though the name calling was unnecessary. Rachel really didn't hair for Halloween, but was seriously on her good behavior to make sure she could go spook housing with her friends later. Halloween was Brent's favorite holiday, and he tended to take it a little far, such as the music playing in the car during the season. That's part of why they were all stacked on top of each other in their little Hyundai heading out to the Ball Family Fun Farm. Such a generic name. No wonder Andy hadn't noticed it before. Like a mind reader, Sam suddenly spoke up. I can't believe we have never been to a pumpkin patch and corn maze before. A maze, Sam chuckled. Glancing over to find Andy nor the kids were smiling along, Sam just continued. I wonder how long this family fun farm has been around. I know it's outside of town, but I would have thought that one of us would have noticed it before this week. I mean, the pumpkins and corn had to have been planted and grown at least through the summer. So it's been here, but it seems like it popped up overnight. So if it's like that, has it been just outside of town for years and we just never really noticed? Genuinely bewildered, Sam glanced into the rearview mirror at Rachel and Brent. Rachel was looking at her phone and so had probably been tuned out from the moment I began speaking, Sam thought. Brent, however, looked back at Sam in the mirror, a thoughtful expression on his face. I would have noticed, Brett decided after a few moments of serious thought. He nodded to himself and went back to adding songs to their Halloween playlist. Well, what about you? Sam asked, turning to Andy. Andy shrugged and said, like you said, they have to grow the plants. We probably just didn't notice since it's so far out of town. I didn't think it would be, but we have been driving for a hot minute. Brent looked at Andy. Okay, what's the next song? He asked. The Monster Mash seems to be missing. That's a must-have classic, was the prompt retort. Okay, Rachel, Sam said. What's your favorite Halloween tradition? Rachel rolled her eyes, but decided it was best to give a genuine answer. She was so close to getting to hang out with her friends for Halloween fun. At night, for the first time ever. She was not about to blow it by being sarcastic to a parental. Making popcorn balls is the best part about Halloween. I love eating all the ingredients while we make them, and I get to lick my fingers, giving Brent all my cooties. Rachel laughed, wiggling her fingers at her little brother. Brent laughed and batted her hands away. Popcorn balls are so good, Brent exclaimed, agreeing with her, a huge smile on his face. But seriously, Rachel continued, I love making popcorn balls with everybody, and then when they're done, I love chomping on them. The perfect sweet and salty treat. One can sometimes have too much chocolate at Halloween, you know.
This is a subtle advertisement for popcorn.
Amber loves popcorn balls.
Be added to your like pumpkin or your bowl, your candy bowl.
I used to give them out. The kids fucking hate them.
They hate them.
Yes, they never took
They're like,
them.
what the fuck is this?
Yeah, so I don't get them anymore except for like us, but I like the ones you make.
My mother or my grandmother loves popcorn balls. She will just munch on them.
Me too.
What sticks them together? Is it marshmallow?
I think, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it's so fucking good. I completely understand, Andy piped up. That's probably why I love making caramel apples so much. They are delicious and fun to make and nice tart sweet combo. Not pure sugar, but still a treat.
Unfortunately, sorry to interrupt. It's just like people can't really give out caramel apples anymore
You
because
can't.
people see them and they're just
It's
like,
oh, you put a razor blade in that bitch.
exactly, and that sucks.
It
That
sucks.
does suck.
But also, I'm not eating a caramel apple given to me by a stranger.
Exactly. I totally understand the perspective. Like I do.
I
But
watched
it's
too many
so
horror
stereo.
movies.
It's just so
It is
nostalgic.
very-
Like
Yeah.
here's your little caramel apple that I made.
I know.
But no parent's gonna let their kid.
yeah,
eat
no,
it.
it's gonna go to waste.
And that sucks.
It's, yeah.
Maybe
Oh, I
I'll
do
make
like
some.
eating them. Yeah.
Let's make some real ones this time because I tried the slices, remember?
Yes, but I figured out how to make those work better.
Mhm.
You have to dry them and maybe even like adhere a slight powder,
Uh-huh.
like cornstarch,
Uh-huh.
so that the caramel has something to stick to.
Right.
Because with the apple being moist, it just slides right off.
We won't be getting together for
Halloween.
Halloween.
We can make like caramel apples in November, though.
Yeah, like Christmas
Yeah.
caramel apples.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Red
think
and green.
you can do something. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Figure it out. Love caramel apples.
Sorry,
so fucking
your
good.
thing making me
Plus-
want sweet.
I know.
Like-
Like, I'm sorry, but it's a family in the car.
Yeah.
You know, at Halloween. This is what my family does. Like the whole like asking each other what their favorite thing is. So that is why that's the conversation. So Andy nodded and smiled. Okay, now I'm in the spirit. I'm ready for caramel apple and a pumpkin patch and a fall fun. And fall fun
Apple
in the corn
cider.
maze.
Yes.
How much further? Head shaking slightly back and forth, Sam said, "It can't be much further. We must have gone at least 10 miles past the school by now. I swear the commercial said it was 15 miles past the school on Route 66. Completely unfazed by the length of the drive, Brent asked Sam, "What's the thing you like most about Halloween?" "Well," Sam said thoughtfully, "taking you kids trick-or-treating is probably my favorite thing about Halloween.
Me too.
But I guess pretty soon I will have to find something new to be my favorite. You kids are growing up so fast, and I don't know how much longer I'll get to take you." Yes, I am that parent. I haven't taken my kids for years because they don't need me to. Rachel smiled into the rearview mirror. "Aw, I love it when you take us too. But I was hoping this year I could maybe, go with my friends."
Oh, fuck you, Rachel. Jeez, God, damn, that's sad.
Andy looked at Sam, who was smiling sadly. "See, I knew this day was coming pretty soon," Sam said with a chuckle. "Of course you can. You're old enough, I think," Sam said, glancing questioningly at Andy. Andy nodded in agreement. Of course. Our little girl is growing up."
Are Sam and Andy gay?
That's open to interpretation.
Okay, because I didn't think that at first, but now I'm starting to.
It's completely open to
Okay,
interpretation.
because you left no gender.
I did. Yes, it's completely that way. Everybody feels included.
Yeah, okay. So that was intentional.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
It
okay.
was. Brett cut in. "Isn't anyone going to ask me what my favorite thing about Halloween is?" They all laughed, and smiling, Rachel asked, "Okay, Brent, if you had to pick just one thing, what would you say is your favorite thing about Halloween?" "I have to pick just one?"
Yeah, that's
"I was going to say everything is my favorite thing about Halloween," Brent and shrieked, and everyone else howled with laughter. "I knew it," Rachel laughed. "That's why I said it that way." And everyone laughed even more. "Ah, the laugh track with the spooky soundtrack in the back," Rachel said, making her parents laugh even more and reminding Brent to add more songs to their Halloweeny playlist.
wholesome. This whole thing is wholesome.
"Enough funny business," Sam said, laughing. "It's had to have been at least 5 more miles and still no sign of any family fun farm." "I'm sure we're headed in the direction the commercial said. Not like there are a ton of roads going in or out of town," Andy said, shrugging and looking at all the forest outside the car window. I'm pretty sure the woods clear out soon. There should be fields ahead at some point." "Okay, who wants to pick the next song? I can't think of one I want right now," Brent said to the family, obvious to anything beyond the Halloween vibe. "Evil Woman" by Elio, Andy said, and shot a grin over to Sam. "Ugh, we've heard that one like 3 times already," Rachel said. "How about Bad Moon Rising? That one's a classic." "Oh, look, I see a cornfield up there," Andy exclaimed and pointed as the car moved steadily forward, out from the last of the trees of Martyr Wood. Both sides of the road opened up as far as the eye could see. And what there was to see was nothing, except the Fall Family Fun Farm ahead in the distance. "Finally making headway," Sam said with relief. "I was starting to get a little worried there. It seems to be taking too long to get just a little bit out of town. Ooh, spooky, Sam said the last part in a ghost-like voice and smiled at Brett in the rearview mirror. Also relieved, Andy smiled and began singing along to Bad Moon Rising. Do you see a parking area? Rachel asked, hoping she might spy out some of her friends' cars. A few of them said they were heading over here, and a few said they were working to help set up the place to make some easy cash. No, it's still far ways off. I just see the tall stalks of corn for the maze, Andy answered her. Maybe it's like the Twilight Zone, and we'll just keep driving and driving. And the cornfield is a mirage, and we never get closer to it, and we just keep going forever, Brett said, giggling. Andy and Sam laughed and shook their heads, but both were taken aback as they were each having the same thought, but not giggling. They drove without speaking, listening to the seemingly endless Halloween playlist Brett continued to feed songs to, and watched the cornfield in the distance. Andy and Sam desperately wanted to ask each other, "It looks like we're getting closer, right?" But neither wanted to scare the children or their partner. Much like a mirage, it seemed that the field was getting closer, and yet seemed still very far away. Rachel was also beginning to feel uneasy about the length of the drive. Brent, lost in his Halloween playlist and pumpkin patch daydreams, was the only one not to seem to notice the odd feeling of time. Finally, the parents both saw a glint of sun shining on metal. Oh, how silly I was to think, they thought in unison, and both trailed off to protect themselves from feeling even sillier by allowing the full idea to form regarding their internal fears. Look, I see the parking lot, Andy said very excitedly. Rachel was very relieved as well and began craning her neck to try for a glimpse out the windshield to get a look at the parking lot, so she would know if any of her friends were there, as teenage girls do. There was still too far off for the parking lot to have any clarity, though. Just bits of color and bursts of light as the sun reflected off the cars. Suddenly, bits of orange could be seen here and there, breaking up the sea of green on the side of the road. Look, Rachel shouted, pointing towards the field on the passenger side. Someone's been smashing pumpkins. I bet Ryan and Tina have been here, she said, laughing. Well, we know we're almost to the right place, Sam said, and rightly so, for they had gained some ground and were just up ahead, just up the road from the fall farm now. They could clearly see the rough gravel parking lot and dust-covered cars, the cornfield growing in size the closer they get, the pumpkin patch visible as bright orange dots among green vines. A gigantic scarecrow loomed over the fields, protecting corn and pumpkin alike. Orange and yellow decor bright among the green of the surrounding fields. Andy and Sam sighed in relief. The dread they didn't realize had been building in their guts, dissipating now that they were here. Slowing down, Sam scanned the road ahead, watching for the turn-in for the parking lot, and saw the road is now lined with jack-o'-lanterns of every shape and size, their expressions all unique and filled with terror. Judging by the looks of it, these pumpkins will make excellent subjects for carving, Sam says to the family, causing everyone to pay attention to the jack-o'-lanterns on either side of them. "Oh, yeah!" Brett and Rachel cried out together. Excuse me. Look, that one there. Look at the face. It almost looks like Pastor Thomas, Andy said in amusement.
Oh my fucking god.
And that one, you could think it was carved to look like Amanda Baker, Andy laughed. Whoever carved these beauties has a knack for realism. They parked next to Sam's coworker Molly's car. Seemed as though half the town was making it out here based on the cars in the lot. Everything was covered with dust. The wind must kick up in this clearing a lot, Sam thought. Sure is quiet out here for a family fun farm, Brent said pointedly.
Shut the fuck up. I fucking hate kids.
Looking around at all the cars, there's no Halloween music, no screaming, no laughing. Where's the Halloween spirit? He said, sounding disappointed. Well, we just have to make our own fun, Sam said, heading toward the entrance of the corn maze. Hoping she might find some friends inside, Rachel ran past and straight into the labyrinth. Brent chased after her, their gleeful cries wafting behind them as they ran in. Andy kept examining the jack-o'-lanterns. Each one looked so familiar. Each one looked like a neighbor or a coworker. Closer and closer to the pumpkin patch, the jack-o'-lanterns got smoother, lighter orange, but still familiar and terrified faces. Andy walked into the patch itself, looking closely. Hey, Sam, come over here a second, Andy called. Sam was about to follow their kids into the corn maze, but turned back just in time to see a pumpkin vine twine up Andy's pant leg and tightly pull down. Andy, Sam called out and began running to the pumpkin patch, watching in horror as the vines covered Andy. Sam reached the pumpkin patch, a sharp hoe in hand that was grabbed from a random hay bale on the way to free Andy. And suddenly, the gleeful cries from the corn maze turned to cries of terror. Sam turned back towards the corn maze. It was Andy or the kids. But Sam couldn't move. The pumpkin vine was making its way up. Looking to the left, eyes wide with fright, Sam recognized Molly's face in the pumpkin resting on the vine. To the right, Rachel's friend Ryan's face screamed in terror, knobby and orange as a pumpkin. Sam looked up in horror as the scarecrow reached down and plucked the hoe up, dropping it right back into the random hay bale Sam ran past, trying to get to Andy. Horrible realization dawned as Sam's vision was blackened by the pumpkin vine as it covered Sam's eyes. Suddenly, the farm was alive with excitement. Lights shone bright. Calliope music danced on the breeze. Laughter filled the air. The place was alive with the spirit of the season, but not a soul was in sight. Oh my God, I forgot to clap for yours because it was so funny.
So I just have to say, not being a kiss ass. R.L. Stein vibes. R.L. Stein vibes.
Yeah,
Really?
I was like, I feel like I need to do 2 stories because I thought the one was going to be a lot shorter, but like reading things out loud takes longer.
R.L. Stein vibes. Loved
Thank
it
you.
so much. You could turn either of them into a story. The first one I think would be more like new adult, obviously, or young adult with her being like 16, but
Right.
the second one could easily be like a children's horror, like kind of R.L. Steiny goosebumpsy vibes. I really think
Thank
so.
you. This was so much fun.
I
I
did have
loved your
fun.
story. I
Thank you.
laughed so fucking hard. Like I was gonna applaud at the end too. Like I'm such an asshole, but I was like just so caught up in the humor of the whole situation and like the interpretation that was open at the end. Like this was so much fun.
I had so much fun. I hope you guys liked hearing our spooky
Yes.
story.
We hope it helped you get in the mood for Halloween and Samhain. I had a lot of fun. I had so
did
much
too.
fun. Yeah, like I loved your vampire story.
We'll have to
It
do
was so-
another one like this.
I agree. This was a lot of fun. I pushed myself outside of the box a lot because, like, do you know how hard it is to not use he or she?
I
Like-
imagine.
Like, I had to redo so many sentences because I was trying to make Sam and Andy very androgynous. Sam was almost Sammy, but then I was like, well, the parents' names sound like kid names. That's
Right.
fucking weird. I don't like that. So, but I was like, I wanted them to be androgynous names. Like, it could be a same-sex couple. It can be a hetero couple. Or, yeah.
Yeah.
I said that right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like open to interpretation, and like that way, everybody can see their family. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I
And
like that. It turned out really good.
yeah, that was so much fun. That was a great idea.
I think
They
so,
did.
yeah. All right. Well, I
Well,
think the dogs want us to be
Yeah,
done.
so happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy
We'll be back on Thursday on Halloween itself. So
Yes.
definitely tune in again to your favorite witches, bringing you some Halloween vibes. And in the meantime, You can listen to our previous seasons Halloween vibes as
Yes.
well.
Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. You can find us on the X, Threads, and Instagram at Witches Talking Tarot.
We are on Threads, Facebook, and Instagram.
Isn't that what I said?
You said the X.
Oh, Threads, Facebook, and Instagram at
Okay.
Witches Talking Tarot.
So I was about to do the X, and then I was like, wait a minute. The X at Classiest Witches, because we are the classiest witches, you know. So a big shout out and thank you to Victoria,
By DVD
Pam,
and Melissa.
happy Halloween, y'all. Thanks for being our patrons on Patreon. If you guys want to get fun, spiffy little shout outs and the little extras that we sometimes send to our patrons, I swear to God, that dog's shut the fuck up. Anyway, patreon.com/witches talking tarot. And thank you for coming to sit with us for a spell. Night.
That was really fun.
Just a bunch of hocus pocus.
I'm Maddie,
I'm Amber.
and we're Witches Talking Tarot.
We are the weird optimistic.
I get sold like a Santa's snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble. Sam.
Wow.